Third POV. May started the video, most of the guys jumping in the seats from pure excitement, especially Bakugu. Of all the warriors who entered this arena, none could compete with these two titans of death, Wiz proclaimed. That actually worries me since the first episode included my counterpart that destroyed an entire species, and the second one had a soul-stealing sorcerer. Momo said. That just makes me more pumped up. Bakugu yelled. Kratos, the ghost of Sparta who single-handedly annihilated Olympus. Wiz introduced the first warrior. Annihilated Olympus. Izuku muttered astounded. Single-handedly. Ida said as well. And Spawn, who managed to dethrone both Satan and God. Boomstick introduced the other one. Come again? Suka asked. The destroying all of Olympus feat shocked a lot of the group, but the mention of defeating both Satan and God themselves made everyone's jaws drop. Ibarra started praying to forgive said God for watching such blasphemous videos. I'm Wizard and he's Boomstick, and it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor and skills to find out who would win a death battle. Wizard said again. The first fighter was a tall, muscular man who appeared to be in his late 30s at most. He was bald with a goatee on his chin, ghostly pale with a red mark going down his left eye to his shoulder, another scar on his other eye, and wearing a permanent-looking scowl that made the students and some heroes shiver at the amount of pure hatred in them. He wore only a Spartan warrior skirt with sandals, golden armaments on his wrists and chains wrapped around him that attached to wicked-looking blades. Kratos. That man looks so manly. Kirishima and Tetsu said. For once I agree with you shitty kunkleheads. Bakugu agreed. He kinda scares me, Uri said. Kota reluctantly agreed as well. Okay, you two, how about you guys come with me? Mirio said. We can skip this battle and we can go to the dorms and see if Deku has any extra candy apples. Mirio led the two kids, one white-haired cinnamon roll drooling at the thought of candy apples, away to the door and left. The group proceeded with the video. Cue God of War music because it's awesome. Kratos is a demigod, raised among the Spartans as their greatest warrior, until one day, his people were threatened to be overrun. It was then he struck a deal with Ares, the god of war. Wiz revealed. Ares appeared to be a giant of a man, wearing reddish-brown armor and his hair and beard all made of fire. He also looked suspiciously similar to Endeavor. Todoroki glared at the video, subtly feeling like he wasn't going to like this guy. And that's not even counting the annoyance and slight hatred of this guy looking like his father. Endeavor would have felt flattered that this was possibly one of his counterpart, except he could feel that with it being the god of war, that it wasn't going to be something to brag about. Ares would give him the strength to protect his people, and in return, Kratos would become his champion warrior. Wiz continued. Striking a deal with a god, especially the god of war, doesn't sound like a good idea, Jirota said. In fact, many of the myths and legends from Greek mythology involves mortals making deals and bargains with the gods only to be betrayed, fooled, or lose more than they gained. Momo said. Kratos became super powerful and really vicious, but was tricked by Ares into killing his own family, Boomstick said. The group gasped as they saw Kratos, covered in blood and looking horrified at his dead wife and daughter. Izuku suddenly felt a sharp and heart-wrenching pain in his heart, tears of pain and loss reaching down his eyes. The students and heroes looked on the traitorous god of war with hatred. Even Endeavor looked upon his possible counterpart with hate and anger. It's a good thing that Mirio took Eri and Kota away, Mijire said. Even though we let them watch the death battles, I think even this would be too much. But hey, he saved some money on child support and divorce, Boomstick commented. Izuku also felt an unbridled rage like never before go through him, and was about to leap through the video to punch Boomstick's face off. The others had similar looks of anger and disgust. Even I know that's fucked up, Bakuga said. Todoroki's left side started sprouting flames at random in anger, and Tokoyami's dark shadow starts to grow bigger and more angrier, only to be held back by an angry Tokoyami. Heh, oh man, that was bad even for me. No joke, that's rough, Boomstick said. At least he has some standards. Momo sighed in exasperation. Izuku, Tokoyami and Todoroki calmed down after hearing the clear remorse in Boomstick's words. As the white, hot ashes of his family clung permanently to his skin was started. "Oh God," Ur said. "That's awful. Why did that happen?" It was likely a curse from Ares to leave a permanent reminder and even fuel Kratos' rage. Momo deduced. Ares in the myths always loved sprouting hatred and rage towards his enemies and allies alike. Just like Michael Jackson. Boomstick interrupted. "Who the hell is Michael Jackson?" Bakugo asked. "No idea," Shinso said. "Though his name sounds familiar to that famous pop star." "What is his name again?" "Miracle Johnson was his name," Present Mike said. "And making sick music was his game." His quest for vengeance against the gods of Olympus began. Wizard continued. Background: over 6 foot tall. A Spartan warrior. Holds the rank of captain. Self-centered anti-hero. Superhuman strength, speed and an endurance. As a demigod, Kratos possesses incredible strength, speed and endurance. He can survive the pummeling of a titan and best the power of Hercules, was said. The group watched in awe as Kratos fought against not only Hercules himself, but a massive titan the size of a freaking mountain. "That thing is fucking huge," Kaminari yelled out. "Even I can't reach a size that high," Mount Lady said, astounded and terrified at the size of the creature. To fight against a creature of that size and power is unreal, Ida said, utterly flabbergasted. "I'm not sure even All Might could fight a monster that big and strong," Uraraka said. "Sadly, I think I can agree with you on that, young Uraraka," All Might said. "Not only that, but he fought against Hercules," Kirishima said. "That's super manly. Blades of Exile. Dual short swords. Wield with chains seared to arms. Hook design. Made from the remains of the blades of Athena." The first weapon shown was the Blades of Exile. They appeared as 2 short swords with wicked cool designs. The blades were jagged and had a yellow glow to them, attached to hilts that sported demonic mouths in its design, and were connected to chains that wrapped around Kratos' arms. The overall design of them made Bakugo's and Kamakiri's mouths water. Kratos wields the Blades of Exile, twin short swords bounded to his arms by chains. The blades have a hooked design which Kratos can use to cut right through his enemies or snag them and whip them around. And like most badass weapons, they can somehow emit fire, Boomstick explained. "I so want those weapons," Bakugo yelled out. "Tech bitch, build me them." "I think not, Bakugo," Izawa said. "If you are going to be a hero, I don't believe hooking your enemies with hooked and deadly blades is the right way to do it. Kratos is well trained in sword combat and possesses what may be the most powerful sword the Greek gods have to offer. The Blade of Olympus," was said. The sword was incredibly long, glowing in blue ethereal fire and light, and its hilt looked incredibly excessive and yet majestic. "That sword looks so, Arhai said. "Heavenly," Ibarra said, astounded. "Beautiful. Its very glow of it through a screen is making me feel weak," Okoyami said. The light. It burns," Dark Shadow screeched. "Blade of Olympus. Can kill gods and titans. Contains god powers. Fires blue energy waves. About 5 feet long. After Kratos killed Ares." Spoiler," Boomstick said. Cheers went up at the traitorous god's demise. Yet they were still shocked that Kratos was able to kill a god, an immortal, unkillable being. He was made the god of war, but Zeus tricked him, putting all of his godly powers into this sword, making him mortal once again. Boomstick continued explaining. "Why would Zeus do that?" Uraraka asked. "Like father, like son," Todoroki mumbled bitterly. "Zeus is by far one of the most heinous, traitorous, and disgusting deities of all mythology," Izuku said, his voice rising higher, as if he had first-hand experience. "He betrays his own godly brothers and sisters for power. His lies and tricks mortals into doing his bidding with promises of glory and reward only to fool them. He seduces countless women to satisfy his lust and rapes them if they resist. The students were stunned, but not by Zeus's deeds, but rather the look of utter rage and hatred in Izuku's face, as well as lightning sprouting out of him. Uraraka looked at Deku worried as his look of hatred looked similar to Kratos's. Deku, calm down. Uraraka said. I know that Zeus is a horrible person, but he's not real. He's only in another world, and I'm sure he will get what's coming to him. But just calm down. Izuku breathed in and out, and his look of rage vanished, confusion taking its place. I'm sorry. I didn't know what came over me. I just felt not like myself. All Might and Nizu looked at each other, worried about Midoriya, and sought to talk to him about it later. Meanwhile, Hound Dog sniffed the air and perked up when he smelled something new, and making the blade of Olympus a deadly harbinger of death to even the toughest of Olympians. Wizard explained as the video continued. Golden Fleece, Gold Armlet, blocks attacks, deflects projectiles and magical attacks. Strong enough to counter the blade of Olympus. His most versatile defense is his Golden Fleece. Armor capable of blocking powerful blows and deflecting magical attacks. A nice solid defensive weapon to match his offense. Momo said. That fleece looks awesome. Kirishima said. It reminds me of my quirk. Yours too, Tetsu. I know, right? But there's a whole lot more to this guy's arsenal. Boomstick announced. Bow of Apollo. Can rapid-fire arrows. Charged fire arrows. Does not drain Kratos' magic limit. Quick with long range. Like the bow of Apollo, which can shoot a rapid stream of arrows or charge up deadly fire arrows. Boomstick revealed. A nice long-range tool against faraway foes. Todoroki said. Claws of Hades. Used like blades of exile. Spiked chains and hooks. Rips souls from victims. Can be resisted. Can summon souls. Slower than the blades of exile. The next weapon shown was a pair of hooked, razor-sharp blades, complete with spikes and attached by chains. They glowed a purplish, ethereal glow that made Tokoyamiya and Shurihei shiver in anticipation. Then there's the claws of Hades, which mercilessly rips the souls out of their victims. Though, tough opponents like Kratos can resist them. Wiz explained. So dark, so deadly, so powerful. Okoyami said. Revelry in the dark. Nemean cestus. Giant metal gauntlets. Lion-like appearance. Originally owned by Hercules. Incredibly strong. Can create shockwaves which stun foes. Slowest of all the weapons. The Nemean cestus are giant, ultra-strong gauntlets, which can stun foes with brutal shockwaves. Boomstick explained. I want those too. Bakuga tried claiming. No, Kirishima yelled. You just can't have all the weapons, Baku bro. Leave some for the rest of us. Those gauntlets would work perfectly with my quirk. Don't forget about me. Tetsu yelled. Pairing those shockwaves with my heat absorption and defense would be a perfect, unstoppable force. Boots of Hermes. Greaves with small wings. Improved running speed. Can run up walls. The boots of Hermes give him superhuman speed so fast that he can run up walls. Wiz explained. Sounds a lot like your quirk, Ida. Uraraka said. With a dash of Azui's wall crawling. Ida added out. Agreed. Ribbit, Shui said. Icarus wings. Can glide and fly. Huge 18-foot wingspan. Slowly falls apart during flight. Ripped from Icarus' back. And when battled the infamous Icarus, he ripped those huge wings off the old fool's back and took them for his own, giving him powers of flight. Wiz explained. He has flight too. Kaminari said, shocked. How many weapons does this guy have? Holy crap, that's a lot of weapons. I like this guy. Boomstick declared. Exactly, Kaminari said. Kratos is not invincible, but he's really difficult to kill. Wiz said. Hell, he can't even kill himself. Boomstick stated. They watched with horror and sick curiosity as Kratos impaled himself with the blade of Olympus, a bright beam of light shooting out from him and sparkling over the sky. Why did he stab himself? Pony questioned. Is it because of that beam of light? Kratos held the power of hope inside of him, and when Kratos destroyed all of the Olympians and brought upon the apocalypse, he pierced himself with the blade of Olympus to free the power of hope to give to the mortals to survive forward. Stunned and shocked looks appeared towards the one who said that. Izuku. How do you possibly know that, Midori? Nina said. Are your powers of deduction that OP? You are. I don't know. Izuku mumbled as he suddenly was snapped out of a trance. It just came to my head. Like the anger from before. Nizu frowned and thought about why Midoriya was suddenly experiencing these episodes. He, All Might, and Izuku and definitely gonna have a talk after this. Hound Dog once again sniffed the air and picked up the scent from earlier appeared. Hound Dog could sense it coming from Midoriya, and it smelt like burning brimstone and mistletoe? Hound Dog also sniffed the air and picked up another scent coming from somewhere else in the room. A smell that he doesn't recognize, but it was everywhere. In his rage, he tore apart the ranks of Mount Olympus and slaughtered every god upon and below it. Except for Aphrodite. Wiz explained. For obvious reasons, Boomstick said. Kaminari and Zero didn't even both trying to hide their nosebleeds over the goddess of love. Guys and girls alike were blushing, especially Izuku, who felt phantom touches of pleasure, especially below the waist. In doing so, he ultimately brought about the end of the world. Without the power of the gods to keep the chaos in check, the apocalypse had arrived. And its vanguard was Kratos. Wiz continued. But don't mistake his actions as purely destructive, as by in the destruction of the Olympian gods. He freed humanity from their corrupted tyranny and upon striking himself, gave the power of hope and choice back to humanity. You were right, young Midoriya, All Might said. I can kinda feel sorry for the guy, Boomstick said. Lost his family, killed his other family in the most massive temper tantrum ever, and couldn't even kill himself to ease the nightmares. He truly became death, destroyer of worlds, was said. But he at least has found the paths of a new beginning and a new family. A scene was shown of an older Kratos, with a thick beard and an axe on his back, holding a young boy with bow on his back. The students smiled at that. Izuku himself held a tear as he felt fatherly pride and love course through his heart before disappearing. I was trying to make you a great warrior, Ares told Kratos. You succeeded, he responded. He then stabbed Ares through with the sword, killing the god of war. Mixed reaction ensued upon Kratos. The heroes defiantly didn't like him over causing the apocalypse and his near senseless murder of everybody in his way. Bakugo and Kamakiri loved the guy and his brutal strength, power and deadliness. The rest of the students were especially mixed and confused. They of course didn't approve of the murder and viciousness of Kratos, but feel sympathetic for the loss of his family and understood his thirst for revenge. They continued the video to find the second combatant. This combatant was first shown as an African-American man dressed in black tactical gear. Al Simmons was trained to be a deadly, stealthy soldier and assassin, and proved numerous times he was the best of the best. But when his morality got the better of him, his boss terminated his contract permanently. Wiz explained. The group watched in horror as Simmons was burned to a crisp while his boss stood above him, saluting to him. Guess these two are no strangers to betrayal, Otto said. That's when Simmons met Malebolgia, one of the demon lords of hell, who struck a deal with him. Boomstick continued. And the two made pacts with beings that you obviously don't make deals with, Oji said. Yeah, you must be incredibly desperate to make a deal with a freaking demon, Jiro said. Malebolgia was shown as a monstrous demon with large green eyes, horns, a large mouth with razor-sharp teeth and a long tongue, and sporting long raggedy white hair. Izuku flinched, the phantom feelings of anger and rage appearing again. He also couldn't help but compare the creature to look like a more demon-looking Shigaraki. He would get to see his wife again if he became captain of Hell's army. He agreed and was reborn as a Hellspawn. But as with most demons, it tricked him, leaving Spawn with a fate worse than death. And of course, Spawn swore revenge. Boomstick explained. The group watched as Simmons came back to life, only to find his wife married with another man with a daughter. Ouch, Kaminari said. At least it's better that she's alive and not killed. I don't think he would agree, Izuku said, looking downcast. Imagine it. You are given the chance to meet with the woman you love once again. A woman you love so much that you gave up your soul to a demon to be with her. Then you come back and she has moved on with another man and they have a daughter. A life that you could have had, now torn away forever. Uncomfortable silence ensued. The girls looked to Izuku's saddened look with concern. The guys too looked concerned that Izuku has recently been expressing so much connection between the two fighters. Moving on, Spawn's official look was shown, much to the stunned amazement and excitement and even fear. He was tall, covered in a black skin-tight suit with 2 streaks of white over his chest and suit, chains and red armaments on his legs and wrists, ghostly green eyes, and a torn-up long red cape that flowed as if it were sentient. Background. Height, 6 feet 2 inches. Weight, 450 pounds. Skilled assassin. Superhuman strength, speed and durability. Composed of necroplasm. Regeneration healing. Being a Hellspawn, he has superhuman strength and speed. He's nearly invulnerable and can use his own powers to heal and regenerate. Wiz explained. This interested All Might and Endeavor as the 2 heroes that have fought incredibly powerful regenerating Nomus. In addition, Spawn can feed or draw from the evil auras of others for the same effect. It really saves him on band-aids, Boomstick said. Revelry in the dark. Tokoyami and Shurhai muttered. Letha of the 7th House of K. Symbiotic suit. Limited by imagination. Can create chains, spikes, claws, shrouds, etc. Has a mind of its own. Feeds off necroplasm of natural evil energies. He wears a living parasitic symbiotic suit named Letha of the 7th House of K. Was said. Sounds an awful lot like your dark shadow, Tokoyami. Momo said. Minus the feeding off necroplasm feature. Tokoyami nodded. Letha has ridiculous powers. Basically, anything she or Spawn wants to happen can happen. The suit can create and control chains, claw spikes and morph itself into anything Spawn wants, like a badass cape that can trap enemies and protect Spawn from all sorts of danger. That's amazing, Izuku said. It can function as both an offense weapon from short and long range to a defense shield and even camouflage. Sounds like it could also keep up with Kratos' plethora of weapons, Shinso said. The suit has a mind of its own, and can operate while Spawn focuses on other parts of the battle. It's strong enough to easily smash through brick and fast enough to block bullets, was said. Interesting, Todoroki said. However, Letha feeds off necroplasm energy when using the suit's power, a hellish matter which Spawn is entirely composed of. If Letha uses too much, Spawn will be sent back to hell. However, like Spawn, Letha can also feed off the evil and sin of others, was said. That would be the perfect weapon against villains, Izuku said. Indeed, Izawa said. It can absorb a villain's energy enough to weaken them or incapacitate them and strengthen him at the same time. A truly vicious combination. Magic. Can alter matter. Communicate with animals. Coda-likes. Flight and teleportation. Necroplasm projection. Healing the sick and even resurrecting the dead. Elemental control. Spawn's also got tons of magic powers. He can teleport, transform, blow things up, turn invisible, alter matter, talk to animals, fly with his cape, draws in breath, reads minds and opens portal to heaven and hell. Oh why crap, Boomstick said with amazement and nearly running out of breath. And he can control the elements, often using fire and water to clear swarms of enemies. Wiz explained further. Jaws dropped left and right at the plethora of Spawn's magical abilities. Everybody pretty much agreed that if Spawn ever turned bad, not one of them could stand against him. However, even with all these godlike abilities, Spawn often refers to his most primitive weapons. Was said, as he was trained in special forces for so long, Spawn is most comfortable using a gun. Expert marksman, weapon of choice, least effective weapon, skilled in all types. He's an expert in the use of any firearm imaginable. Was said, now that I like, Snipe said, makes sense too. With that training, a warrior would be effective using a weapon he is an expert at using rather than something he's not. Specific weaknesses. Magic necroplasm. Holy weapons forged in heaven. His dwindling amount of necroplasm can only die through beheading. Only two things can break through Spawn's defenses and hurt him. Necromagic and holy weapons forged from heaven. In addition, he can only die if he's beheaded. Boomstick said, seems rather obvious that heavenly weaponry can slay a fearsome demonic creature like himself. Bara said, Spawn has fought and killed all sorts of powerful enemies. Assassins, cyborgs, vampires, ghosts, angels, demons, other hellspawn, rampaging deities, and even Satan and God. Yes, that old lady is the god. Wizard explained. The audience was once again astounded by Spawn's feats, especially the Satan feat, that made them fear him even more, and the God feat that made them all pretty much terrified of the hellspawn. Really? God looks like my Nana, am I a demigod? Boomstick asked. This made the more light-hearted people chuckle. The serious ones roll their eyes, and Ibarra going down on her hands and knees praying that all of this was not true in their world. Her Class 1B female classmates noticing steams of comical smoke steaming out of her ears. And after being granted unlimited power by the mother of all things, Spawn banished God and Satan from the earth, which he wiped clean and rebuilt into his own image. He then willingly sacrificed his own god powers and eventually returned to his hellspawn form. Wiz explained. Why the hell would he do that? He must have been really bored. Boomstick joked. Except that was all proven false. Wiz suddenly said. A record-scratching noise sounded. Say what? Boomstick asked. Was the audience's similar response. Ibra raised her head in silent hope. Well, okay, long story short, the God and Satan that he banished were actually imposters. Wiz explained. And soon the real Satan appeared with a demonic army to try to bring on the apocalypse. Then the real God returned and she, yes I said she also returned, was actually super good and nice and helped Spawn by giving him a super powerful weapon known as the Sword of Spirit. Spawn then took on the real Satan, even stronger than ever, and fought of Satan off, who was as powerful as the real God herself. What do you know? You learn something new every day, Boomstick said. A wall burst forth in an explosion of fire, and out of the rumble came out Spawn, guns in hand. Knock knock. The group was still reeling from the information that they heard, but their most accurate reactions were sheer shock and total fear towards Spawn's power, Kirishima's and Tetsu's brains short-circuiting in from Spawn's acts of pure manliness, Mina's, Toru's, and Kaminari's brain short-circuiting from trying to understand all that was said, and Ibra doing a happy jig proclaiming hallelujah, that her praise were answered, much to the comical sweat-dropped amusement of her classmates. All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all, was said. It's time for a death battle, Boomstick yelled out. As the video searched up multiversal counterparts to the two fighters, they voted for who would win. Those who voted for Kratos that were noticeable included Momo and Ida, for his mythological ties, Ibarra, who had a bit of a grudge towards Spawn defeating God, even though she didn't know the reasons, Uraraka with Azui behind her, because of their sympathy for Kratos' family that he involuntarily killed, Todoroki, because Kratos killing Ares, Kirishima and Tetsu, who respected Kratos defeating Hercules and his armor, Mount Lady, for his victory against a giant titan, and a reluctant Bakugu, who was extremely divided by the two fighters but chose the one that had the cool weapons in the end. The most noteworthy votes for Spawn included Tokoyami, because of his similar sentient, symbiotic creature, Sure-Hai, following Tokoyami's mindset and affinity for darkness, Shinso and Mandali for his mind-reading powers and magic, Kaminari, because he figured a guy able to control the elements could also control lightning, Izawa because of his plethora of abilities, short list of weaknesses, and assassin training, Snipe because of Spawn's affinity for guns, and Nizu, who only smiled. Cryptically, Izuku was the only one who opted out of voting. Why Deku? Uraraka said. Before Deku could answer, the video answered for him. Scanning complete. Kratos. Multiversal counterpart. Kater. Outside cosmic. Multidimensional intervention detected. Intervention identified and accepted. Kratos. Multiversal counterpart. Izuku Midoriya. Shocked silence filled the room that the adorable, friendly, and heroic cinnamon roll of Class 1A could ever be connected to a raging, hate-filled, destructive, and violent demigod like Kratos. Could this be why young Midoriya experiences those random and out-of-place reaction to Zeus, and how he knew why Kratos stabbed himself? All Might pondered in thought. But if that's the case, then why now with young Midoriya and not the rest of the students during the previous fights? Or when Midoriya was Leonardo? Could it have to be that Kratos is a demigod and connected to magic? Spawn. Multiversal counterpart. Izuku Midoriya. What? Was the general reaction from most of the audience. How come shitty DKU is counterparts to both Kratos and Spawn? Bakugo said. If anyone should be Kratos, it would obviously be me, and Spawn would obviously be emo bird boy over there. Honestly, I have to agree with Bakugo for once. Todoroki said. Tokoyami's symbiotic relation with his own quirk, Dark Shadow, would fit with Spawn's symbiotic suit, and Bakugo definitely has the temperament to be Kratos. Yeah, and I can't honestly see Deku as either of them personality-wise. Uraraka said. So why is it that Deku is both Spawn and Kratos from their world? As they pondered on why this could be, the video once again asked their question. Scanning Izuku Midoriya. Connecting with multidimensional energy acquired from Wizard. Connection established. Izuku Midoriya's relevance and status as main protagonist of this universe and similar multiverses. Adding cosmic intervention from unknown celestial and multidimensional deity appears to connect him with these two combatants. So Izuku's connection with the two is simply because of some cosmic hijinks from some multiverse god or something, Hyuka said. Also that main protagonist status it pointed out is interesting. Momo said. Normally that would mean that if this world of ours was a show, movie, book or anime, then Izuku would be considered the one that is most looked on. Izuku is squirming in his seat at the attention, especially with being cast into this role of a typical chosen one role. Bakugo meanwhile was currently fuming at not being the main protagonist himself. Before Bakugo could yell out his discontent, the video interrupted them and answered for them for the third time. Scanning for similarities and comparisons between Izuku Midoriya, Kratos and Spawn. Comparisons include betrayal and torment from an ally-made enemy at a younger age, multiple unique universe singularities identified as quirks dormant inside genetic makeup similar to both combatants' abilities, superhuman strength and speed, and tactical knowledge and analysis relevant to Spawn's special forces training and Kratos' Spartan military tactics and puzzle analysis. Silence again filled the room. Nizu, Gran Torino, Recovery Girl, and All Might were practically sweating bullets at the black box, referring to One for All and the hidden quirks of the past users. The guys were seeing Midoriya in a new light that bordered between amazement and terror. The heroes and teachers, especially Endeavor, looked to the Class 1A student with slight suspicion over the multiple hidden quirks that was said. Izawa looked to All Might, who also looked nervous but in a different way. His face wasn't that of shocked revelation but of recognition, like a child being caught red-handed. He made a point to speak to the former symbol of peace when they finished with the video. The girls of Class 1B were stunned at Izuku's supposed importance and comparisons with the two fighters, most especially Setsuna. She had her eye on the similarly haired team, and this was just gas to the fire to further her curiosity. The girls of Class 1A, Nijire and Mei toned out everything that was said after the part where Izuku had similar experiences of betrayal and torment from a supposed ally in the past. Their brains starting proposing things they didn't want to think. Bullying or abuse. They decided to hold off their thoughts on the matter for later. Izuku and Bakugo, however, were looking at the screen frozen with pure horror. The two were obviously concerned about one for all being practically hinted towards the whole group, but what truly terrified them was the machine spilling the beans of Izuku and Bakugo's past. A past that had two childhood friendships turned to betrayal from one of them, becoming a bully and practical tormentor to the other. A secret the two wished to keep secret for the same and different reasons. Nizu spoke up with, "I know many of you wish to further elaborate on this, but may I remind you that the purpose of this gathering is to watch these death battles. When we leave for the day, you may gather your thoughts later. But for now, let's us resume this death battle, please." The group nodded and decided to continue. The video continued with the voice saying, "Additional multiversal counterparts relating two characters detected. So we are getting the counterparts to the others shown in their backstories," Ida said. "Intriguing. Aries. Multiversal counterpart. Enji Todoroki aka Endeavor." Endeavor sighed knowing that this would be the case. He stood and gave Izuku an attempt at apology for his counterpart's actions towards his own. Izuku mumbled that it was unnecessary. Lysandra and Calliope, wife and daughter of Kratos, multiversal counterparts. Ochako Uraraka and Eri, Atreus, son of Kratos, multiversal counterpart. Izumi Kuta. Uraraka was sent into a spiraling blushing storm over being married to Deku in another elite, only to come to senses when she remembered that she died along with Eri as her daughter, and how that caused Deku to suffer. Izuku's grunted in a headache as images flashed in his mind. He saw images of Uraraka in ancient Greek clothing smiling lovingly at him. Images of Eri running around and looking at him with happiness and love and happiness that he didn't deserve. They then changed to him running alongside Kota through snow woods, hunting a deer. Izuku snapped out of his images and surmised that they belonged to Kratos, his counterpart, and decided to talk with All Might about these episodes. Malbogia, multiversal counterpart. Tenko Shimura aka Tomura Shigariki. "I knew that demon looked familiar," Uraraka said, frowning at the memory of Shigaraki's hand around Deku's neck. "I should have noticed the striking similarities, one demon to another." Zeus, multiversal counterpart. Toshinori Yagi aka All Might. "What?" The students and heroes gasped. How can All Might be anyway related to Zeus? Especially this Zeus that betrayed Kratos, Mina said. "Well, Zeus was known as the king of Olympus and the strongest of the Olympian gods," Ida said. "It's not hard to compare him with All Might's strength and position-wise, with All Might as the symbol of peace and semi-leader of Japan's hero society and strongest hero." All Might ended up spewing apology after apology towards Midoriya, who, likewise to Endeavor, said that it was okay and that he shouldn't be held accountable for the actions of another. With all that said and done, they decided to cease the question and ponderings and focus on the video. The video began the fight with an underground castle illuminated by torch lights. Kratos was shown walking up a flight of stairs and onto a wide platform. As he walked past it and almost reached the other stairs, a burst of green flames exploded behind him. Out of the flames stood Spawn. Kratos brought out the blades of exile from his back. Fight. Kratos tossed his blades towards Spawn in hopes of snagging him, only for Leetha to sprout chains from his body that parried the attacks. Kratos continued launching attacks with the blades of exile, with Leetha blocking every attempt, while Spawn himself was standing perfectly still. "Damn," Kominari said. "That's badass. He's just standing there doing nothing while Kratos fails to hit him." Spawn, getting bored, brought out of nowhere a large machine gun and fired onto Kratos. The demigod blocked the bullets using his golden fleece armor. "Nice defense," Kirishima yelled. Kratos slashed the gun away from Spawn's hands and attempted to capitalize by slamming both swords onto Spawn. Spawn, using his magic, teleported away in a burst of green fire. Spawn appeared again behind Kratos and attempted to strike the demigod with an uppercut. Kratos sensed the attack coming and blocked it by crossing his arms. Spawn unleashed a necroplasm-powered punch that knocked Kratos back a few feet. Kratos then launched his right blade into Spawn's gut and dragged the Hellspawn towards Kratos, who delivered a good old Sparta kick and knocked him back. Impressive use of his blades to strike from afar and drag enemies towards him for close-range fighting. Mizu said, "Reminds me of your fighting style with your capture scarf, Aizawa." Izawa nodded. Spawn landed and dodged other attack from Kratos, the demigod running after the Hellspawn that continued to evade him. "Go back there, shitty demon DKU, and fight shitty demigod DKU." Kuga yelled. Is he angry because Spawn is running? Or because he just wants to see Midoriya's counterparts fight each other to the death? Zero asked. "A bit of both," Kirishima said. "But I agree a little bit. If Spawn defeated both Satan and God, why is he evading and running?" They said that Spawn was trained in special forces as an assassin, Momo said. While it is the reason why he uses guns more often than not, training to be an assassin means deploying hit-and-run tactics and putting the battle under their terms. Kratos rushed into the room to find no trace of Spawn. As he looked around, he failed to notice Spawn hanging from the ceiling, camouflaged. "He has invisibility too," Hur said. "He also appears to be able to latch onto walls like me," Shui said. "Though mine is because of my frog quirk, and the other is probably due to his talons or spikes." Spawn descended and struck Kratos with a swift downward kick from above. He followed it up with a quick jab and a devastating roundhouse kick that sent the demigod flying. Spawn quickly exploded in green fire and teleported to where Kratos was heading, striking him upwards, teleporting again and unleashing a flurry of super-fast strikes onto Kratos from the air. He then smacked him away and teleported. Kratos seems to have the advantage in a head-on fight with his brute strength, but Spawn has the speed and stealth advantage that makes hit-and-run fights more in his favor, Edith said. Kratos recovered as Spawn, who stood above the stairs, launched a ball of green necroplasm onto him. Kratos brought out the golden fleece armor and bounced the attack back at Spawn. He then latched onto the Hellspawn with his blades and brought him over to him. Kratos brought out the Neen cactuses and slammed them onto Spawn in a devastating haymaker. "Wait, where is he even getting all those weapons from?" Nas. "He's wearing nothing but sandals and a skirt. Maybe he is using his own magical powers to create a pocket dimension to store his weapons," Izuku said. "Or maybe they just magically appear on him when needed. You would know," Sin said. "He is you. Both of them, actually." Spawn recovered next to a chasm, and as a Kratos rushed him, he jumped and floated above the chasm, laughing tauntingly at the demigod from above. Spawn fired more blasts of necroplasm at Kratos, who blocked them with his golden fleece armor as they bounced away. Kratos magically brought out his wings of Icarus, flew into the air himself, and slammed into the Hellspawn that defeated God. The two slammed into the ledge on the other side of the large chasm, Kratos hanging onto the ledge as Spawn hovered above him. "You are pissing me off," Spawn said in a deep, menacing voice. "That voice sounds so menacing. And sexy," Mina said as she shivered in both fear and arousal. Izuku displayed a contrast to the menacing Hellspawn by blushing and burning up so much his forehead was as hot as hellfire. Kratos responded but latching onto Spawn with the blades of exile, drawing green blood from the Hellspawn, and dragged them both downward onto the chasm. The two fell before landing in on solid ground unscathed. Kratos immediately brought out the bow of Apollo and fired a stream of arrows towards Spawn. The Hellspawn that dethroned Satan commanded Letha to shield him with his cape, the arrows bouncing off the armored piece of clothing. Kratos charged up a fire arrow to attack, but Spawn reacted by using his elemental magic to make the flames explode out. The flames shot out of control and engulfed Kratos in the flames, Kratos screaming in pain. Spawn doubled down by creating another ball of necroplasm magic and tossed it over, causing a series of explosions. "Hey shitty demon dude, I'm the only one that can cause explosions. Get your own shtick." No guesses needed to know where that came from. "Is it over?" Urarika questioned. Kratos lunged out of the fire, the blade of Olympus in hand, and brought the sword down only for Spawn to teleport a few feet away. He's alive! Kirishima and Tetsu exclaimed. And wielding the blade of Olympus. Suka said. Since I guess it's considered a holy weapon, then if Kratos strikes at Spawn then dash. He will kill him. Setsuna finished her train of thought. The guys who voted for Kratos, Ibukugu, Kirishima, and Tetsu cheered for the Slayer of Olympus to defeat the Hellspawn. Spawn unleashed a flurry of chains to attack Kratos slashing through with the godly weapon as he neared the Hellspawn. He then rushed forward and stabbed the holy weapon through Spawn's gut. Yes! Bakuga cheered. Kratos won. No, he didn't. Fukoyami said, smirking. What the hell are you on, bird brain? Bakuga yelled out. Spawn is weak to holy weapons and dash. Bakuga has his question answered as Spawn teleported behind Kratos and grabbed him by the demigod's head. Die! Spawn said, as a spike erupted through Spawn's hand and through Kratos' head, piercing the demigod's brain and killing him instantly. K.O. Bakuga's mouth dropped in shock, disbelief written all over his face. Spawn can be killed by holy weapons, but only if he is beheaded. Todoroki said, eyes widening as he remembered that important detail. Kratos only stabbed him through his chest, and while I'm sure it hurt, it didn't kill him outright. Tokoyami let out a smug grin. Bakuga decided to just sit back down and try to hold back every thought in his head that wanted for him to strangle the bird-headed hero student or icy hot. Oh man, here comes the rage from the God of War fanboys. Boomstick said. Shut the hell up, you drunk gun-loving idiot, before I build my own universe hopping machine and go over there to blow your face up. Bakuga yelled. Kratos is a very difficult one to beat, but Spawn's magical powers and near indestructible body proved too much for him. Wiz explained. Yeah, normally, that last attack would have meant the end of his opponent, but not Spawn, Boomstick claimed. And while much of Kratos' arsenal were forged by Olympians, Olympus is composed of earthly elements, and is not another plane of existence like heaven. So it stands to reason no Olympian weapons can kill Spawn. Wiz explained. I guess that makes sense. Hyuka said. I wouldn't exactly put mythological pagan gods on the level of the god, if they exist, or compare Olympus to heaven. Except the blade of Olympus, but it wasn't enough. Plus, this is the same guy who beat the shit out of Satan himself. Boomstick continued. No decapitation, no dead Spawn. Ojiro simplified. Plus, Spawn and his suit have plenty of evil energy to feed on during the fight, since Kratos is literally covered in his past sins. Wiz explained. I didn't even realize that. Nijire said. That means that Spawn could have fought Kratos for as long as he needed to tire the demigod out and finish him. UQ said. And the more the fight progressed, the more Kratos would tire and be unlikely to strike a fatal blow against Spawn. And even then, if it makes those God of War fanboys feel any better, Kratos can just fight his way out of the underworld, like the last times he died. Wiz said. He fought his way of death, Kirishima said. That is super manly. Well, that was one hell of a fight. Boomstick punned. Meh, I give that joke a 4 out of 10. Kaminari said. The winner is Spawn. Wizard finished. Phew, that was my favorite battle thus far. Kaminari said. Same here. Sun said. Agreed. Tokoyami and Shurhai said at the same time. Are they just gonna say the same thing over and over every time something dark comes along? Kozai asked. Probably. Waze said. Next time on Death Battle. Boomstick said, dramatic music picking up afterwards. Slayer of Dragons. Explosion extraordinaire. As the words that describe the next fighters. It hyped on the students and intrigued the heroes, especially Bakugo at the explosion extraordinaire part. They expected for these two fighters to be like knights or beings of magical power, only for them to be shown the image of a blue guy in an all-white suit with a jackhammer and air pump and a goofy-looking man with a cartoon bomb in hand. Silence. Pfta ha ha ha. Kaminari laughed. Oh, that's hilarious. Those guys look ridiculous. The students and some heroes followed suit in laughing, with the more serious people Endeavor, Aizawa, and Ida, only rolled their eyes, groaned, and waved their arms like a juiced-up robot with a stunned face. As much as we would all like to see how this battle turns out, this is the last video for the day, I'm afraid. Mizu said. We shall call it a day for now, and tomorrow we can continue with some more fights. The students first complained, but a pointed look from Aizawa and Vlad King ceased their arguments. As they filed out of the gym and headed towards the dorms, All Might called out, "Young Midoriya, can we speak with you for a moment?" Izuku and the rest turned to see All Might, Gran Torino, Recovery Girl Aizawa, and Nizu standing by waiting for him. Izuku turned to his fellow classmates and said, "You guys go on ahead to the dorms. Tell Eri and Kota that I had to stay behind for a while, but I'll be back." The guys nodded and proceeded to walk back to the dorms, while the girls of Class 1A, Mei and Nijire, were hesitant at first before nodding and walked away as well. As Izuku and the teachers walked towards the UA main building, they were unaware of a certain green-haired teen, trailing behind them in tiny split and hidden pieces.